Hello everyone and welcome back to our virtual Mishnah Berurah Shiur. We're holding Mishnah Berurah Chelik Gimel, and Mi'ez Hashem today we will be learning page Daf Tesvav Amud Aleph. We'll be completing Siman Reish Mem Tes. We are continuing to learn Hilchas Shabbos. Our learning today should be as chus for Achenu Kol Beis Yisrael Hanasunim Batzara B'Hashivya Ha'imdim Ben Bayam U'Bein Bayabasha Hamakayim Yerachem Aleihem V'Yitziam Yitzal L'Revacha Me'afel L'Oira U'Mishiber L'Geula Hashta B'Gala V'Zman Kariv. So, in the previous year, we began Sif Daled, Siman Reish Mem Tes Sif Daled, in which the Mechaber discussed somebody who was Mekabel Tainus. He was Mekabel to fast on Erev Shabbos. And the Shaila became, how long is he Mechuyev to fast? He definitely has to fast, but when should he end his fast? So we know that typically speaking, a fast ends at the full end of the day, after Ben Hashmashos by Tzeisak Echavim. That's when the fast properly ends. On Erev Shabbos, if you fast all the way until Tzeisak Echavim, that means that you're coming into Shabbos kishehu ma'uneh. You're coming into Shabbos while you are uncomfortable because of the fast. Now you could look at that as being a bittul of the mitzvah of Einik Shabbos. The Mechaber told us you have no choice. If you are Mekabel Tainus to fast on Erev Shabbos, you have to fulfill your Kabbalah's Tainus, and now it's like any other Tainus, like a Tainus during the week. You're going to have to fast until Tzeisak Echavim. And on Daf Yudalad Amud Beis, the Mishnah Berurah is cutting Yud Tes. The Mishnah Berurah told us that according to the Mechaber feels, this is all the way at the bottom of the Mishnah Berurah in Yudalad Amud Beis, ve'enai nechshav le'isser b'mesha nichnas l'Shabbos kishehu ma'uneh. This is not going to be considered a problem of bittul mitzvahs Einik Shabbos, even though you're coming into Shabbos while uncomfortable. Alfagav diyam Shabbos gufa aser lehisanois, even though certainly on Shabbos you're not allowed to fast, but to come into Shabbos kishehu ma'uneh, because you are Mekabel Tainus on Erev Shabbos, that's not an isser. Why is it not an isser? Because you have no choice. Your Kabbalah's Tainus requires you to complete the fast. You have to be mashlim the tainus, which means fasting all the way till Tzeisak Echavim. Now it's interesting because in Mishnah Berurah is cutting Yud Ches on Siv Gimel. In Siv Gimel, the Mechaber discussed the minig of the Anshe Maisa to fast every Erev Shabbos. Why would they fast on Erev Shabbos? They would fast on Erev Shabbos so that they should come into the Suda Shabbos b'te'avoid. They should come to the Suda Shabbos when they have a good appetite. That was good covered Shabbos. But the Mishnah Berurah Nice Cut Yud Ches said we're not noyig that way. And the reason we're not noyig that way is because it is a problem to come into Shabbos kishehu ma'uneh. It is a bittul of mitzvahs Einik Shabbos to come into Shabbos kishehu ma'uneh. That was in Siv Gimel. In Siv Dalid, we see that it's not a problem. What's the difference? The difference is very simple. In Sif Gimel, the only reason you want to fast is you want to fast to kind of be Mekayim the mitzvah of Einik Shabbos in a Mahudr Dika fashion. You want to fast on Erev Shabbos so that you should come to the Suda Shabbos night b'teyavoid. You should come to the Suda with a great appetite, and that should be a big covered Shabbos. Over there, the Mishnah Berurah brings down, the minig is not to do that. We paskin that you don't do that. Why? Because while you're trying to be Mekayim the mitzvah of Einik Shabbos in an extra special way, at the same time, you're impinging on covered Shabbos by coming into Shabbos kishehu ma'uneh. So we paskin that you shouldn't do that. In Sif Dalid, we're not talking about fasting lechatchila. In Sif Dalid, we're talking about where somebody was Mekabel Tainus on Erev Shabbos because he had a reason to be Mekabel Tainus on Erev Shabbos, not because of Einik Shabbos reasons. He's not doing it to benefit Einik Shabbos. He's doing it for a Zaitika reason. He was Mekabel Tainus for some reason on Erev Shabbos. Okay, you were Mekabel Tainus. You have to finish the Tainus. You're going to come into Shabbos kishehu ma'uneh. That we say is not an isser. Since you are Mekabel Tainus and you have to be a mashlim your Tainus, it's not an isser that you're coming into the Tainus kishehu ma'uneh. So that's what we saw in the previous year. Today we're going to learn Daf Tesvav Amud Aleph, and we're going to see the Shita of the Ramah, who disagrees with the Mechaber. Says the Ramah, top line, Tesvav Amud Aleph, Hagah. The Yesh Oimrim, however, we have a Yesh Oimrim over here, the Lo Yashlim, who says that if you are Makabel Tainus on Erev Shabbos, you should not complete the Tainus. You should not fast all the way until Tzesek Lechavim. How long should you fast? Instead, as soon as you come out of shul after Ma'ariv, already you could break your tainus. So, if you made Shabbos early, you davened Mincha before Plag, and now you davened Kabbalah Shabbos, and you davened Ma'ariv after Plag HaMincha. Now, as soon as you finish davening Ma'ariv, even though it's Oid HaYom Gadol, it's probably not even Shkia yet, you could still go ahead and you could break your tainus. Says the Mishnah Berurah Katan Chaf Aleph, V'yesh Oimrim Deloi. Says the Mishnah Berurah, Ha-yesh Oimrim, the opinion that the Ramah is presenting over here in the name of the Yesh Oimrim, Svira Lahu, they hold, the Bein B'Tainis Yachid, Ubein B'Tainis Tzibur, that whether we're dealing with a Tainis Yachid, somebody who was B'Kabel Tainis on Erev Shabbos for whatever reason, Ubein B'Tainis Tzibur, or even if we're talking about a bona fide Tainis Tzibur like Asar B'Tevis, which could fall out on Erev Shabbos, Kigoin Asar B'Tevis, Shechal B'Erev Shabbos, Lo Yisan Eraka Cheyetze B'Beis HaKnesses. This Shita holds that whenever you have a Tainis on Erev Shabbos, whether it's a Tainis Yachid, or it's a Tainis Tzibur like Asar B'Tevis, you only fast until after Ma'ariv, even if you made Shabbos early, so you're coming out of Ma'ariv even before Shkia. The Oz Kvar Kiblu Shabbos Batfila, because now it turns out that you were already Makabel Shabbos, Shemispal Miplaga Mincha Ve'elech, you were Makabel Shabbos when you davened Ma'ariv after Plag HaMincha, and here he defines Plag HaMincha. When's Plag HaMincha? V'hu miyud aleph shas chaser revia ve'elech. Plag HaMincha is 10 hours and 45 minutes into the day, which is an hour and 15 minutes before Shkia. Why is it called Plag HaMincha? Literally, the words Plag HaMincha mean half of Mincha. What does that mean? Well, Mincha Ketana is 2.5 hours before Shkia. Half of the time period between Mincha Ketana and Shkia is an hour and 15 minutes. So an hour and 15 minutes before Shkia, that's what's called Plag HaMincha. Remember, we're talking about Shoyz Maniyos, like the Mishnah Berurah says. We're talking about, again, proportional hours. We take the day, we split it into 12 equal portions. Each one of those portions is a proportional hour. This time of year, it's approximately 75 minutes to a Shoyz Maniyos. And the Ramah says that according to these shitas, if you fast until after Ma'ariv, that's called that you are mashlim the tainus. Since you were already Makabel Shabbos, that is considered a full day tainus. V'oadin be'erev Yom Tov, the same halacha would apply in Erev Yom Tov. Ad achar kabbalas Yom Tov, once you are Makabel Yom Tov, that's already considered a full day tainus. Ubechayil, but during a regular weekday, Gamal Yesh Oimrim, even according to this opinion. So even according to this opinion, who says that if you're Makabel Tainus on Erev Shabbos, you only have to fast until after Ma'ariv, even if you were Makabel Shabbos early. On Erev Yom Tov, you only have to fast until you were Makabel Yom Tov, even if you took in Yom Tov early. That's only Erev Shabbos and Erev Yom Tov. But on a regular Tuesday, if you are Makabel Tainus, and now you decided you're getting a little bit hungry, you can't go ahead and say, I'm going to daven Ma'ariv early today. I'm going to daven in Ma'ariv after Plag, and I'm going to break my Tainus after Plag. That you cannot do. During the week, you always have to fast until Tzesek Echavim. Now, what's the rationale of this Shita? Why is this Shita saying that on Erev Shabbos and on Erev Yom Tov, you could get away with fasting until you're Makabel Shabbos, until you're Makabel Yom Tov? The reason is Pashut. The reason is because on Erev Shabbos and on Erev Yom Tov, there's an inyan of Tosfos Shabbos and Tosfos Yom Tov. That means that Halacha recognizes on Erev Shabbos that you could add on to Shabbos, Tosfos Shabbos. You could add on to Shabbos. So on Erev Shabbos, if you daven Ma'ariv early, if you're Makabel Shabbos early, and you daven Ma'ariv after Plag HaMincha, when you walk out of the Beis HaKnesses, when you walk out of Ma'ariv, it is now Shabbos. Halacha recognizes it as Shabbos. So if you break your fast now, that means you fasted the entire Erev Shabbos, because Erev Shabbos is early. So to on Yom Tov, there's a halach of Taisvis Yom Tov. So if you take in Yom Tov early, the day has now changed. Once you're Makabel Yom Tov, it's already Yom Tov day. So Erev Yom Tov is over. You fasted for the full Erev Yom Tov. You can't do that on a Tuesday. On a Tuesday evening, if you daven Ma'ariv after Plag, Tuesday evening going into Wednesday, there's no din of Taisvis Wednesday. So we're not going to say that because you daven Ma'ariv already, it's now Wednesday and Tuesday is over. No, you daven Ma'ariv early Tuesday evening, but it's still Tuesday until Tzeitzek Echavim. That's why it doesn't work during the week. Okay, so again, just to recap quickly over here. So, we're dealing with somebody who's Makabel Tainus on Erev Yom Tov. Normally, when somebody is Makabel Tainus on a regular day during the week, he must fast until Tzeitzek Echavim. He has to fast until after Ben Hashmoshes. He has to fast until Tzeitzek Echavim. Question over here became, somebody was Makabel Tainus on Erev Shabbos. How long should he fast? On the one hand, we would prefer that he should break his fast as early as possible so that he should not come into Shabbos kishehu ma'uneh. On the other hand, he has to fast a full day. So the Mechaber paskined that even on Erev Shabbos, you have no choice. You must be mashlim your tainus. You have to fast a full day. That means all the way until Tzeitzek Echavim, the same way you always have to fast all the way until Tzeitzek Echavim. You're coming into Shabbos kishehu ma'uneh. The Mechaber holds that that's not a bittul of the mitzvah of Einik Shabbos. Since you are Makabel Tainus and your Kabbalah's Tainus demands of you that you must fast the entire day, we don't look at it as a bittul of mitzvah Einik Shabbos. The Ramah brings down a dissenting opinion. The Ramah says no. You're Makabel Tainus on Erev Shabbos. It's enough to fast until you're Yotzei mi Beis HaKnesses, until you come out of shul after Ma'ariv. What does that mean? Well, it means even if you took in Shabbos early, so you daven Mincha and Kabbalah Shabbos before Plag HaMincha, you could daven Kabbalah Shabbos after Plag HaMincha, you daven Mincha before Plag, and then you were Makabel Shabbos, and now you daven Ma'ariv after Plag, you finish Ma'ariv, it's not even Shkia yet, since you were Makabel Shabbos already, Erev Shabbos is over, and you could already break your fast. Now, the Mishnah Berurah pointed out over here in Ois Kat and Chaf Aleph that this Shita applies this halacha both to a Tainus Yochid, an individual who's Makabel Tainus, and to a Tainus Tzibur, like Asar B'Tevis. So this opinion would hold that if Asar B'Tevis falls out on Erev Shabbos, you would only fast, you could make Shabbos early, and you would only fast until after Ma'ariv. That's what this Shita would hold. But we're going to see we don't paskin that way. We're going to jump. We're in the Mishnah Berurah right by the word umachriya haramah, but we're going to jump now back to the Ramah, because if we do the Mishnah Berurah now, we're going ahead of ourselves. Let's jump back into the words of the Ramah, second line down, middle of the line. Lachein, therefore, says the Ramah, now that I've presented this opinion of the Yesh Omrim to you, Lachein, now based on this Yesh Omrim, here is how we paskin. B'tainus Yachid lo yashlim. When we're talking about a Yachid, an individual who is Makabel Tainus on Erev Shabbos, that we consider to be Kal. We're talking about a Yachid. We're talking about an individual who is Makabel Tainus. By him, lo yashlim. He should not complete his Tainus until Tzeitzek Echavim. He should break his Tainus right after Ma'ariv. V'toiv lefarish kein b'shas Kabbalas HaTainus. However, really, preferentially, what this Yachid should have done was, when he's Makabel the Tainus to fast on Erev Shabbos, he should specify, I'm only fasting until after I daven Ma'ariv. That's the halacha by a Tainus Yachid. U'b'tainus Tzibur, but by a Tainus Tzibur, like Asar B'Tevis, that could fall out on Erev Shabbos, Yashlim. Then you do have to fast all the way till Tzeitzek Echavim, and the Ramah says, V'hachi Nog. And that's how we're noyig. Let's go back now into the Mishnah Berurah in the middle of Ois Kat and Chaf Aleph. Umachriya Ramah, the Ramah paskins the b'tainus Yachid by the case of a Tainus Yachid. Dahainu sheyachid gazar alatzmai Tainus, where an individual was Makabel a Tainus of his own on himself. Lismaich ala Yesh Omrim, we could rely on this Yesh Omrim to lo yashlim, that he need not complete his Tainus till Tzeitzek Echavim. When we come up, nevertheless, lechatchilu tov yoseh sheyafarish kein b'shas Kabbalas HaTainus. However, like the Ramah said, it would be better that when the Yachid is Makabel the Tainus, to fast on Erev Shabbos, he should specify that he's only fasting until he gets out of shul after Ma'ariv. But if he fails to make that specification, if he fails to make that tonight, he could still break his fast after Ma'ariv. Ubetainis tzibur, but by tainis tzibur, chamira mizeh, that is more chamor, and therefore v'tzarech lahashlim kadin, by tainis tzibur, he has to complete the tainis all the way to tzesek echavim, like the typical din of a tainis. Va'afilu tanai loy mahani, and by a tainis tzibur, even if somebody makes a tanai, so somebody knows that Asar B'Tevis is falling out on Erev Shabbos, he can't get up on Wednesday and say, oh, I just looked at the calendar, I saw Asar B'Tevis is on Erev Shabbos, I'm only fasting until I get out of shul Friday evening after Ma'ariv. No, you can't make that tonight. Why, says the Mishnah Berurah, it's not up to you. It's not your personal tainus. If it's a tainus yachid, so you're being mikabel your own personal tainus, you can make it tonight. You could specify what the terms of that tainus should be. But on a tainus tzibur, you can't go ahead and make tanoim on what the halacha should be of Shivas, of B'tabas, of Tisha B'Av, of Asar B'Tevis. It's not up to you. On the other hand, says the Mishnah Berurah, v'tzibur shegazru al atzman tainus mechodosh b'shvil eze inyan. Let's say the tzibur gets together, and the tzibur is b'kabel tainus. Maybe it's an eis tzara l'Yaakov, which right now it is. If it would be an eis tzara l'Yaakov, and the tzibur would be makabel a tainus on themselves, so in a sense that's a tainus tzibur. It's the whole tzibur being makabel a tainus, but it's also not a real tainus tzibur. It's not divrei chazal. It's not from the pasuk. It's not Asar B'Tevis. It's not Shivas B'Tamas. It's not Tisha B'Av. It's the tzibur is being geyser a new tainus. Lo chamira kol kach. That the Mishnah Berurah says it's not considered tzachomor, and therefore umahani tanai. The tanai would help, and if they were makabel it on Erev Shabbos, if they made it tanai, or even b'diavad, if they failed to make the tanai, they could break the tainus after Ma'ariv.